Well, good afternoon, ArkLaTex. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Jake Lambright. Still tracking some ongoing showers and storms out there across the ArkLaTex. We had some active tornado warnings this afternoon that have since been allowed to expire. However, we do still have a few severe thunderstorm warnings active across the ArkLaTex. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Looks like I'm going to fix that real quick. Make sure our graphics are showing up. One second there. Perfect. There we go. So there's a live look right now at First Alert radar. We did just see one of the severe thunderstorm warnings dropped. However, some gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour, so it will still be possible. Let me go ahead. We'll zoom in on our only current active severe thunderstorm warning that's in place for portions of Shelby County, Nacogdoches County, St. Augustine, and Angelina County. I'm trying to find somewhere to put that. So that runs through 5:30 this evening for winds up to 60 miles per hour. Not looking at much of a hail threat with this, but again, some pretty gusty winds as those storms continue moving off to the west. Now, further to the north, again, that severe thunderstorm warning that was active was just allowed to expire. I'm going to see if I can put the new product there on the screen for special weather statements. So there we go. That black outlined area, it may be kind of hard to see, but I'll pull some info up on that here in just a second. There we go. It's kind of outlined. That special weather statement runs through 5:45. It covers a pretty large area from Jefferson, areas east down through east of Marshall, kind of out toward the Wascom area. Even includes parts of Shreveport. Not quite making it over to Bossier City. It goes all the way down to Carthage and Tenaha in extreme northern Shelby County. So again, even though that section I was just talking about with the storm isn't severe, it is still strong. It's producing some heavy rain, some lightning, and also some wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. We'll go ahead and kind of zoom things out here. We'll take a look at the area wide view for the ArkLaTex. Go ahead and center that up just a little bit. So here's a look at kind of how things evolved over the last 3 hours. Those storms were looking pretty sad out toward the DFW area and areas east, but once they got close to the ArkLaTex, they strengthened pretty quickly. I do also want to remind you, I'm taking any of your questions in our Facebook or YouTube chat, so if you are joining us there, I do encourage you to leave those questions. I've got some of those pulled up here. See, somebody's mentioning something with the sound. Let me check things here on my end. We'll try this again. If anybody can't hear me, I'll try to adjust my volume just a little bit. Try adjusting that a little bit more. Okay, so that should help just a little bit. Let me know if y'all are still having some trouble hearing me. Mary's asking if there's still a tornado warning for Marshall, Texas. That has been allowed to expire, and we have no active tornado warnings right now in the ArkLaTex. Now, we could see something try to spin up on the leading edge of that line you see on your screen, but for now, no active tornado warnings. The one for Marshall, Texas has been allowed to expire. But okay, I do want to remind all of you as well, we do now have a tornado watch in place that runs through 9 o'clock tonight for the counties and parishes you see there shaded in pink. For the most part, it's those along and south of I-20. I know Upshur and Marion County in East Texas are a little bit further to the north than I-20. But again, for the most part, it's I-20 south under that tornado watch that's running through 9 p.m. tonight. Okay, I see Barbara saying that we've got better sound now. Thank you so much for letting me know. All right, let's, I see we've got some questions on timing. Sari's asking about Benton, and Paige is asking about Shreveport. So let's go ahead, we'll take a look at radar, and I'll actually go and put a track on this line of storms so we can take a look at them. I'm really hoping that they don't try to intensify anymore. Right now they're below severe limits and still producing some gusty winds, but again, not quite to severe limits. Let me double check something on my end. I want to make sure I'm getting a good storm track on this. I want to see the latest from the National Weather Service on speed with this. Looks like they're moving at about 35 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and get a track on that. And I do apologize. It does take me a second sometimes to make these on-the-fly changes. But all right, let's go ahead and get this track. 35 miles per hour. We'll go ahead and track this out through Bossier Parish. So on its current track, provided speed doesn't change much, which it hasn't so far this afternoon, we're looking at these storms arriving in Carthage at about 5:14, Shreveport within about 30 minutes or so. That's when I'd expect the rain to arrive. And then Red Chute at about 5:55, Houghton a little bit after 6 o'clock tonight. And then Minden, if we can keep these storms kind of moving on that same pace, these would arrive in Minden in about an hour and a half. So Paige, again, to answer that question, Shreveport looking at these storms coming in about 30 minutes at about 5:45. I see. Go down here. JC was asking about Keithville. Keithville, you're going to have pretty similar timing to Shreveport. Again, within the next 30 minutes or so is when these line of storms, or this line of storms, will be moving into the area. Shongaloo, I see May's asking about timing for the Shongaloo area. That will be a little closer to your Minden timing, so somewhere between 6:15 to 6:30 is when I would expect that line to move into Shongaloo. Mary saying she hopes it stays on the calmer side. South of Greenwood don't like the storms. I'm right there with you, Mary. And right now, again, we could see wind gust up to 55 miles per hour, which is strong, still below severe limits. Hopefully we can continue to see that line weaken a little bit more as it continues moving your direction. But again, for Greenwood, we're looking at these storms rolling in about 10, 15 minutes or so. And once that leading edge moves through, the gustiness of the wind should start to subside, and then you'll transition to continue with that moderate to heavy rain, but just getting some much needed rain, not so much the winds there once you get past that initial part of the line.
Hey Jake, did you see just a little bit of like not rotation, it was like broad rotation by just north of Appleby and Nacogdoches? You see that?
I do see what you're talking about there. Yeah, the winds definitely look pretty strong in that part of the storm too. I saw somebody in chat just said something about Appleby, but I've not read the message yet.
Lots of rain, no wind here in Appleby.
Oh, it looks like even in Lufkin, a train spotter said that there's some heavy rain going on, but not a ton in the way of wind, which would be good. I guess the big challenge for us there, meteorologist CJ Cartledge is on the other side of the screen with me. I guess the big challenge with that Nacogdoches area is the radar beam scanning so high up, it's hard to know sometimes what's making it to the ground. But Lufkin does have an airport site. So I might look here in a second, see what it's looking like over there as far as their wind gusts go. A look here real quick. Looks like KLFK. Just checking on some max wind gust here out toward Lufkin, where we've got that severe warning part of the storm near Nacogdoches. And it looks like at the airport, the max they've registered in the last 5-10 minutes is 20 to 25 miles per hour. So thankfully they're not seeing bad winds at all. But this is a little bit behind, so that might start to pick up here in just a minute. I see some more questions here. I'm getting to them. Shreveport downgrading on the tornado potential. A brief spin up tornado is still possible. I will look at the line real quick and see if I see anything that really jumps out as far as rotation goes. A little bit earlier on this afternoon when we were live on the air, that's when those storms were a little bit stronger and actually reaching severe limits. Let me pull up velocity here. And I don't see anything that really jumps out at me. What we have to watch out for, though, is you'll notice that those greens and reds are clashing together. They're not tight together. We don't have any defined areas of circulation, but sometimes with these lines of storms like what we see, it doesn't take much. We get a little notch in there where we do get a tighter circulation, and we can see a brief tornado warning. So hopefully we can stay tornado warning free, but the chance, it's low, but it is still there as we go through the next couple of hours. See, Jillian is asking about Keachai. Let me go ahead and zoom it back out and put that timeline on the screen for you once again. These storms are moving at about 35 miles per hour. So Keachai is not going to show up here on the map. Having to do some math here. Likely looking at these storms rolling in probably about 5:45, 6:15, 6:30, somewhere in there. trying to look at this extra close since this line is not fully east to west here. Let me actually try to draw a track that might capture Keachai in it. So out toward the Keachai area, you're looking at a little bit closer to, again, probably 5:30, 6:30 is that best window for this line to move through. Try to clear some of those labels up there on the map. Jewel is asking about Wascom. You're dealing with some pretty heavy rain right now. I'll zoom in on Wascom here for just a second. Probably some strong winds, gust up to 50 miles per hour. But the worst of the line should be past you here very soon. Or I say that, Wascom actually not even dealing with the worst of the wind or the rain yet. But you can see the label there for Wascom. You can see that heavy rain. The radar scans are a couple minutes behind, so it wouldn't be surprising to see parts of Wascom already dealing with that heavy rain and, again, those stronger winds as well. We could see some gust up to 50, 55 miles per hour, but not at severe limits right now, and not seeing anything concerning from a rotation perspective in Wascom right now. So if you can get through the next 20 minutes or so, again, the winds will pick up a bit. That rain will be pretty heavy, but after that, things will begin to improve pretty quickly. Kimberly's asking about Bossier City, the Airline Drive area. It's hard to say, if these storms try to strengthen back up as they move into the Shreveport-Bossier metro, but again, we're looking at these storms. I'll put the track back up for you. Looking at about 5:45 to 6 as they roll into Bossier City. And we don't have any active severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings for Caddo or Bossier Parish at this time. DeBerry down by Carthage doesn't look bad right now. Out in DeBerry, you'll see the rain and the winds pick up a little bit. Not to severe limits, though, as I was just mentioning a second ago. But that rain will be picking up soon. The rain right now is moving into Carthage and kind of north-central Panola County. Troy's asking, this is a great question. What do you do if you live in a trailer park? If you have a friend with a more substantial shelter, maybe a business or a home with a foundation, try to spend some time over there until that line of storms passes your area. Once that line passes, you'll be good to go, though. If you don't have another option for a shelter, you can't go into work, you don't have a friend or family member you can stay with for a little while, if there's a tornado warning issued for your location, the best thing to do is find the lowest place that you can. Sometimes that's off in a ditch, and you'll want to cover your head with your hands. To Kimberly, mentioning to Kimberly that it's not bad right now. Yes, that line of storms hasn't entered Louisiana yet. It's getting close. In fact, you can kind of see there. Let me see if I can circle it. The leading edge of that, this line of storms there is coming right up on the Harrison County Caddo Parish line. So within the next, again, closer to 5:45, 6:15, that's when this line of storms will begin moving into Bossier City. Hallie asked about the Shreveport area. Again, kind of looking at 5:30 to 6 for these storms to move through. Logansport. I'm trying to, again, do some calculation there. Again, within the next hour, probably, these storms will be moving into Logansport. Having to do some math there in my head because I don't have it there. It's technically in the storm track that I drew, but I don't have any points close. We're talking about ETA's Houghton. You're looking at closer to about an hour from now, 6:15 or so, or around 6 to 6:15. And Barksdale, again, closer to 5:45, 6:15. Madison Parish, not expecting these storms to arrive for a little while longer. I mean, Madison Parish kind of on the east part of the state. And hopefully these storms will continue to stay below severe limits as they move out your way. I see Paige commenting about my first severe weather event with y'all. Yes, thank you so much. Hopefully, again, we don't see much more. We've already seen a couple tornado warnings today and severe thunderstorm warnings. We could just keep some rain because we need the rain. But if we could skip out on the rest of this severe weather, that would be very nice. ETA for Natchitoches. Let me clear everything off the screen here. We'll go down further to the south. I want to see, just make sure that this side of the line is moving about the same pace. Looks like it's moving a little bit slower. And that's the only severe worn part of the line right now, out towards Shelby County, Nacogdoches County. And we'll have to see if they continue the warning. So at its current pace, as long as it doesn't try to speed up or anything, the line will move into Natchitoches at around 7:35 or so. All right, so it looks like there's a technical thing I'm going to have to look into on my end here real quick. Give me just one moment though, and I'm going to leave the radar up, and I'll actually put the storm track up for the entire line. I'm going to see what's going on here on our end, and then I will be right back. We'll continue tracking those storms out for you. All right, for those of you still on the stream, I'm still here with you. Right now, we've got to get the stream back on our apps, our smart TV apps. So bear with me here for just a moment. I'm still watching the storms closely, of course, trying to get us back to where we're on all platforms quickly. I'll be back here in just a couple minutes, but I'll leave that radar view up for you in the meantime. All right. So while I'm kind of working behind the scenes to get this other stuff fixed, there has been a new tornado warning issued just outside of our immediate KSLA viewing area. It is for portions of Nacogdoches and San Augustine County through 5:45 this evening. So we're going to be watching this. Again, it's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a quick track out on this real briefly, and we might be going to air with this here in just a second. So if in that case, we will switch back over. But again, there's the estimated time of arrival. I'm still working on getting some of those issues worked out here on the technology side on our end, so bear with us. We'll be back with you here in just a couple minutes.